Welcome to True Crime Case Files. In today's episode, a wife confronts her husband, exposing his affair with a coworker at a family reunion, a revelation that would lead to her tragic death. Join us as we uncover the details of this shocking case and the deadly consequences of secrets laid bare. Jennifer Robbins Lawson, age 42, was well loved in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. A dedicated mother and active volunteer at local shelters, Jennifer poured her energy into helping others. Known for her warm, welcoming spirit, she built a positive reputation in her community, often attending charity events and volunteering at places like the Broward Outreach Center. Though her days were filled with compassion and family, Jennifer's life wasn't as perfect as it appeared. Jennifer met her husband, Wayne Robbins, in college. While she came from a modest background, Wayne had family wealth and privilege. She quickly fell in love with his charm and outgoing personality. To Jennifer, Wayne was exciting and worldly. He introduced her to a lifestyle she'd never imagined, and their relationship quickly grew serious. But the happiness was short-lived. Over the years, Wayne's infidelity became a painful reality Jennifer learned to endure. Despite their shared history and children, Wayne's commitment to Jennifer was shallow. He frequently had affairs and didn't bother to hide them. Friends, family, and even Jennifer herself saw his flirtations and suspected affairs, which he flaunted openly, almost as if to remind her of her reliance on his wealth. Jennifer's loyalty kept her silent for years. She felt trapped, knowing she could never match his financial power or the lifestyle he provided. Her upbringing had been modest, and even as she built a life with Wayne, she sensed he saw her background as a reminder of her limitations. This dynamic kept her dependent on Wayne, who in turn grew careless. By 2018, Jennifer had become frustrated, heartbroken, and deeply humiliated by Wayne's most recent affair with a coworker, a marketing specialist who regularly joined their family at public events. In April of 2018, Jennifer finally had enough. She overheard Wayne and his lover discussing their plans at a family gathering, an annual reunion Wayne hosted at his luxurious Fort Lauderdale home. Fueled by hurt and a determination to confront her husband, Jennifer approached Wayne during the reunion. She publicly exposed the affair, telling Wayne in front of their family that she knew everything. It was an explosive moment, but to Jennifer, it felt like the only way to reclaim a bit of her dignity. At that moment, she was willing to risk the stability and security that she had quietly sacrificed her happiness for. Her decision to confront him was both a cry for help and an act of defiance, a final attempt to take control. Tragically, Jennifer's effort to confront Wayne would set off a deadly chain of events. On the morning of April 28, 2018, Jennifer's body was found by her teenage niece, Brielle Lawson, in the guest bathroom at the Robbins family home in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. It was just past 8 a.m., and the reunion guests were slowly waking up, expecting another day of sun-filled gatherings and meals together. But Brielle's discovery shattered any plans for a peaceful family weekend. The 17-year-old had gone to look for her aunt when she found Jennifer lying motionless at the bottom of the bathroom stairs. At first, Brielle thought her aunt had fainted, but when she tried to shake her, it became clear that Jennifer was not breathing. Panicked and visibly shaken, Brielle ran to her parents, her face pale and eyes wide with shock. They immediately called 911, reporting what they feared was a tragic accident. As they waited for help, other family members gathered around, some crying, others struggling to understand what had happened. It wasn't long before rumors of foul play began circulating among the guests, many of whom had witnessed Jennifer's confrontation with her husband, Wayne, the night before. When first responders arrived, they treated the scene with caution, noting the bruising on Jennifer's arms and the unnatural angle of her body. The family members were asked to remain outside as the officers began their initial investigation. The officer in charge quickly picked up on details that didn't match a simple accident. Jennifer's injuries were severe and suspiciously positioned, raising questions about how she had come to be at the bottom of the stairs. For the family, the reality that Jennifer's death might not be an accident was a shock that would soon turn their grief into suspicion. Fort Lauderdale police arrived quickly at the Robbins home that morning. Detective Carla Simmons, known for her attention to detail and no-nonsense style, led the investigation. A respected officer with over 15 years of experience, Simmons wasted no time in assessing the scene. As she stepped into the guest bathroom, she immediately noted the unsettling sight before her. Jennifer lay at the bottom of a small staircase leading from the bathroom doorway, her body positioned unnaturally, and her face showed bruising consistent with an impact far stronger than a simple fall. The police initially considered the possibility of an accidental fall, especially given the narrow stairwell and the polished marble flooring. However, other clues quickly pointed toward foul play. Detective Simmons noticed bruises on Jennifer's wrists, suggesting she may have been restrained or grabbed before the fall. Nearby, a small decorative vase lay shattered on the floor, which family members confirmed had been intact the night before. This broken vase caught Simmons' attention, leading her to believe a struggle might have taken place just before Jennifer's fatal descent. To document the scene, Simmons directed forensic technicians to photograph every angle, meticulously noting any bloodstains, fingerprints, or marks that could indicate what had happened. They used luminol to detect any hidden traces of blood, even in areas that seemed clean. The staircase itself showed faint, wiped-off fingerprints, suggesting someone had tried to cover their tracks. Meanwhile, Detective Simmons gathered statements from family members who had attended the reunion. Many recalled Jennifer's confrontation with Wayne the previous evening. Though Wayne insisted they hadn't spoken afterward, several guests overheard raised voices coming from the bathroom later that night. Some of these details led Simmons to believe Jennifer's death was no mere accident. By the end of that day, Simmons had concluded that Jennifer's death was likely intentional. She ordered a full autopsy and requested that all reunion attendees remain available for further questioning. What appeared at first to be a tragic accident was now becoming a full homicide investigation, turning the Robbins family reunion into the center of a dark and complex mystery. The first person Detective Simmons questioned was Wayne J. Robbins, Jennifer's husband of 20 years and a prominent marketing executive at a luxury resort chain. At 45, Wayne was known for his charisma and confidence, always the one making jokes at parties or handling big projects at work. Yet this charm often masked deeper issues. Despite his polished public image, Wayne had a reputation within the family for his strained marriage and, as some relatives would later admit, his habit of engaging in affairs that he barely tried to hide from Jennifer. This long-standing marital tension had made him a prime suspect from the start. Wayne appeared calm when Simmons called him in for questioning, but his demeanor shifted when she brought up the confrontation he'd had with Jennifer just the night before her death. According to several family members, Jennifer had accused Wayne of having an affair with his coworker Sam Prescott in front of everyone, turning what should have been a family reunion into a public airing of their issues. Wayne had dismissed her accusations as drama, but Detective Simmons sensed there was more behind his defensive reaction. When asked if he and Jennifer spoke again after the confrontation, Wayne initially said they hadn't. But when Simmons pressed, reminding him of statements from family members who heard them arguing late that night, his responses grew inconsistent. At one point, he claimed he'd gone to bed early, later switching his story to say he'd taken a walk outside to cool off after the argument. Simmons noted his nervousness, the way he'd tap his fingers on the table, and frequently look away when asked about his relationship with Jennifer. His body language indicated stress, a clear shift from the confident personality he was known for. Wayne's possible motive wasn't hard to discern. Friends close to the couple said Jennifer's growing suspicions had threatened Wayne's carefully crafted image. With her ultimatum to expose his latest affair, she held a serious threat over his social and professional reputation, not to mention the financial stability he so valued. Jennifer had come from a modest background, while Wayne's success provided them with a comfortable lifestyle. Wayne had the means to hire a lawyer if needed, and he made clear in questioning that he was prepared to defend himself. Still, Simmons observed a layer of tension and anger in his responses, as if he hadn't expected Jennifer's accusation to follow him so publicly. It was as if Wayne thought his actions would remain hidden, shielded by his powerful image. The more Simmons observed, the more she believed Wayne's confident front might just be a thin layer over a man fearing the consequences of his own actions. This insight pushed her to dig deeper into his motives and movements, knowing his calm mask could only hold for so long under pressure. Detective Simmons next turned her attention to Sam Prescott, Wayne Robbins' coworker, and, as Jennifer had exposed during the family reunion, Wayne's secret lover. At 35, Sam was a marketing specialist known for his ambition and charm. A regular at industry events and conferences, Sam's magnetic personality often masked a ruthlessness to get ahead. He and Wayne had been close colleagues for years, their bond deepening over long work hours and shared projects. To those who knew him well, Sam was someone who would do almost anything to secure a stable future and had already been pressuring Wayne to leave Jennifer for some time. When questioned by Detective Simmons, Sam appeared tense and on edge. He shifted in his seat, eyes darting to the door as if looking for an escape. Though he tried to keep his responses calm, he seemed uneasy discussing his relationship with Wayne, especially given that Jennifer's public confrontation had already put him in a vulnerable spot. Detective Simmons noted the visible change in his expression when she brought up the reunion, particularly the moment when Jennifer accused him and Wayne in front of everyone. Sam's motive came into focus. He had long dreamed of a life with Wayne, without Jennifer's presence complicating things. He even admitted in questioning that he saw their relationship as the future he wanted, something that had made Wayne hesitant, as Wayne wasn't yet ready to leave his marriage publicly. The reunion incident had put this delicate balance at risk, especially when Jennifer threatened to expose them both. Sam's reaction to this threat was telling. He admitted feeling panicked, worried not only about Wayne's marriage ending, but about his own career being tainted if their affair became common knowledge. As Simmons probed further, she asked Sam directly about his whereabouts on the night of Jennifer's death. Sam nervously explained that he had left the reunion early, claiming he felt uncomfortable after the confrontation. But when Simmons pressed him on specific details, like who saw him leave or whether he returned to the house, his responses grew vague. Family members later recalled seeing Sam loitering around the hallway leading to the guest bathroom, where Jennifer was found the next morning. Throughout the questioning, Sam grew increasingly agitated, contradicting himself at times and offering inconsistent statements about the timeline. His ambitious nature, which had drawn him to Wayne in the first place, now seemed to be a weak spot. Simmons began to suspect that Sam's dream of a stable life with Wayne might have been a stronger motive than he was willing to admit. This insight led her to dig deeper into Sam's recent interactions with Wayne, knowing that jealousy and desperation could make even the most composed individual act recklessly. Sam's reactions only reinforced her resolve to find the truth behind Jennifer's sudden and tragic death. It was a week into the investigation when a major break surfaced. Under a cloudy morning sky, detectives received a tip from Jennifer's close friend, Brielle Delgado, who informed them about Jennifer's cell phone. Brielle revealed that Jennifer had been secretly recording conversations with her husband, Wayne, in the weeks leading up to the family reunion. Jennifer had suspected Wayne's infidelity and had used her phone to capture evidence, hoping to confront him with undeniable proof. The recordings, stored on her iPhone, were immediately secured by detectives as potential evidence. Inside the recordings, detectives discovered a chilling detail. Among various conversations, one recording captured a heated exchange between Jennifer and Sam Prescott. In the recording, Jennifer confronted Sam directly about the affair, demanding that he stay away from her husband. Sam's voice could be heard, defensive and agitated, while Jennifer's tone remained steady but full of anger. The recording revealed that the conversation took place in the hallway leading to the guest bathroom, where Jennifer's body was later found. This was a significant discovery, as it placed Sam and Jennifer together near the scene just before her fatal fall. The detectives took this new evidence seriously. Detective Simmons analyzed the recording, noting the rising tension in Sam's voice as Jennifer pressed him to end things with Wayne. At one point, Sam mentioned how their relationship had come too far to end now, a statement that suggested his desperation to keep Wayne, regardless of Jennifer's feelings or threats. This recording made Sam a primary focus of the investigation once again, as the evidence showed how explosive the situation had become. Meanwhile, Brielle also noted that Jennifer had confided in her about her fears for her safety if she continued with her plan to confront Wayne. Brielle explained that Jennifer had started keeping the recordings as insurance, hoping they would give her an advantage in ending Wayne's affair and repairing her marriage. Jennifer had even hinted that she might use the recordings to publicly expose Wayne if he refused to break things off with Sam. The recordings added a new layer to the case, giving detectives insight into the level of conflict and fear Jennifer had felt before her death. With this newfound evidence, Detective Simmons ordered additional interviews with both Wayne and Sam. They needed answers, as the investigation now shifted from an unfortunate accident to a clear case of premeditated violence, with suspects who each had both motive and opportunity. As the investigation progressed, detectives turned their attention to Wayne's older brother, David Robbins, a 47-year-old construction manager who'd grown up with Wayne in Miami. David and Jennifer had dated during college, where they both attended the University of Miami, but they eventually drifted apart. When Wayne and Jennifer met later on, David introduced them. And though he was happy for them at first, some family members had always sensed a lingering tension between David and Wayne. David's strong bond with Jennifer never fully faded, and he remained protective of her, even as she married his brother. On the night of the reunion, David had been seen leaving the bathroom just minutes before Jennifer's fatal fall. Witnesses noted that he looked visibly upset and had been unusually quiet for the rest of the night, sticking to himself in the corner of the living room while the family continued the gathering. He hadn't made eye contact with anyone, a strange behavior for the usually warm and outgoing David, who was known for telling jokes and recounting stories from their childhood. To detectives, his actions seemed suspicious, especially after the recording surfaced of Jennifer's confrontation with Sam in the hallway. During his interview with detectives, David was calm but somewhat guarded, giving direct answers and avoiding eye contact. Detective Simmons noted David's tense posture and slightly defensive responses, especially when asked about his relationship with Wayne and how he felt about Wayne's treatment of Jennifer. David admitted that he deeply resented his brother for cheating on her. He confessed that he had learned about the affair weeks before and felt torn between loyalty to his brother and his long-standing care for Jennifer. David's motive seemed clear: his anger over Wayne's treatment of Jennifer. When asked why he was near the bathroom just before Jennifer's fall, David stated that he went to check on her after seeing how upset she was following the confrontation. He claimed that Jennifer had gone into the bathroom, visibly shaken, and he wanted to make sure she was okay. According to David, they spoke briefly, and Jennifer asked him to give her some space, so he left to let her cool down. Detectives pressed David, probing for more details about his relationship with Jennifer. When asked if he'd ever thought about acting against Wayne, David denied any violent intentions, insisting he only wanted to see Jennifer happy and safe. However, the detectives sensed that his resentment toward Wayne ran deeper than he admitted. David's long-standing love for Jennifer, mixed with frustration over Wayne's actions, gave detectives a strong reason to consider him a possible suspect. David's interview left detectives with mixed feelings. Though his calm demeanor and clear answers made him seem credible, the situation surrounding his relationship with Jennifer and the timing of his presence outside the bathroom created suspicion. With three individuals now under close scrutiny, Wayne, Sam, and David, the investigation remained tense as detectives worked to uncover the full truth. As investigators pieced together the evidence, one truth became clear: Wayne Robbins, Jennifer's own husband, was the killer. Wayne had been growing increasingly desperate in the days leading up to the family reunion. Jennifer's discovery of his affair with Sam Prescott threatened his reputation, marriage, and career. Wayne had always managed to charm his way through life. But now, the recordings Jennifer secretly made on her phone put him in a vulnerable position he couldn't control. During the reunion, after Jennifer publicly exposed his affair, Wayne had tried to keep his cool, but he was boiling inside. When he saw Jennifer step away from the group and head toward the bathroom, he saw his opportunity to confront her alone. Wayne followed her, his heart pounding and thoughts racing. He knew she had the recordings on her phone, and if they surfaced, he could lose everything he had worked for. Anger mixed with fear as he entered the bathroom and closed the door behind him. In the moments leading up to the murder, Wayne's feelings were a chaotic mix of rage, panic, and a desperate need for control. He and Jennifer argued, voices rising, and she warned him that she would make the recordings public if he didn't end his affair with Sam. At this, something inside Wayne snapped. He shoved her with sudden force, sending her backward. As she fell down the stairs just outside the bathroom, her body tumbled uncontrollably until she landed lifelessly at the bottom. In an instant, Wayne's anger turned to shock. He didn't mean for it to go that far, but there was no turning back. The investigation turned on a piece of key evidence: Jennifer's phone. Detectives found the recordings of her conversations with Wayne and Sam, revealing Wayne's attempts to deflect blame and keep his affair hidden. The audio captured their last argument, along with muffled sounds of their struggle just before her fatal fall. Detectives noticed that only Wayne had both the motive and the opportunity to confront Jennifer in that private space. Just days after the reunion, police arrived at Wayne's Fort Lauderdale office to arrest him. When officers handcuffed him and led him to the squad car, Wayne's confident facade cracked. He was stunned, his usual composure replaced with disbelief. In front of his coworkers who had once admired his charm and success, he was now a suspected murderer. For Wayne, the arrest was a nightmare come true. He had lost control over everything he valued: his reputation, his career, and his freedom. Family members were devastated when they heard the news. To them, Wayne had been a charismatic, friendly presence, but now he was accused of taking Jennifer's life in a moment of selfish rage. Jennifer's closest friends and family felt a painful mix of sadness and anger, unable to comprehend how someone she trusted could have caused her such harm. The arrest brought them some comfort, knowing justice was on its way, but the reality of Jennifer's loss weighed heavily on everyone who loved her. In January of 2019, Wayne Robbins faced trial for the murder of his wife, Jennifer. The courtroom was tense as the prosecution, led by Assistant State Attorney Carla Donahue, age 48, outlined their case. Donahue, known for her meticulous approach and fierce courtroom demeanor, painted a picture of Wayne as a man desperate to cover up his affair, willing to go to shocking lengths to avoid public shame. She argued that the recordings Jennifer had made were the key evidence, capturing the threats and tension that led up to her tragic fall. The defense, led by Robert Markowitz, a well-respected attorney known for his persuasive speeches, countered that Jennifer's death was a tragic accident. Markowitz, 53, highlighted that Wayne had been a respected figure with no prior violent history. He suggested that Jennifer might have slipped, and that there was no conclusive proof Wayne had intentionally caused her death. In closing arguments, Markowitz attempted to cast doubt on the prosecution's timeline, arguing that without eyewitnesses, the case against Wayne lacked certainty. Throughout the trial, Jennifer's family members were visibly emotional. Her mother sat in the front row each day, clutching Jennifer's favorite scarf, a symbol of the daughter she had lost. Her friends, former co-workers from local shelters, and community members also filled the seats, hoping for justice. They listened intently as the prosecution played the recordings from Jennifer's phone, including the argument on the day she died. For many, hearing her voice was painful yet brought them a sense of closeness to Jennifer's final moments. After nearly 2 weeks of testimony, the jury reached a verdict. On January 22, 2019, Wayne Robbins was found guilty of second-degree murder. When the verdict was announced, Wayne appeared stunned, his usual calm shaken as reality hit. The judge sentenced him to 25 years in prison, a punishment the prosecution and Jennifer's family saw as fair. For Jennifer's loved ones, the sentencing was a bittersweet moment. They felt a measure of relief that Wayne would pay for his actions, but it didn't ease the pain of her loss. Outside the courthouse, Jennifer's family shared memories of her warmth, her dedication to others, and the vibrant life that had been cut short. Friends and family left the trial feeling some sense of justice, though they knew that healing would take time. After the trial, the lives of those involved in Jennifer Robbins Lawson's tragic story took different paths. Wayne Robbins began serving his 25-year prison sentence at the Everglades Correctional Institution in Miami, Florida. In prison, Wayne struggled to adapt to life behind bars. He often reflected on his past decisions, including the affair that led to Jennifer's death. In interviews, he expressed regret for his actions and admitted that his desire to maintain his image had blinded him to the harm he caused. Despite his remorse, he received no sympathy from fellow inmates or the public, who viewed him as a cowardly husband who betrayed his wife and family. Wayne's former coworkers at the luxury resort company where he worked were shocked by the trial's outcome. Many distanced themselves from him, not wanting to be associated with someone who committed such a heinous act. The media continued to report on his case, detailing the ongoing fallout from his crime. Meanwhile, Sam Prescott, Wayne's former coworker and the man with whom Wayne had the affair, faced a different kind of fallout. After the trial, he lost his job at the marketing firm due to his association with Wayne and the scandal surrounding the case. Sam struggled to find new work in marketing, as many companies were hesitant to hire someone linked to such a high-profile murder case. Feeling isolated, he moved to a different state in search of a fresh start, but the shadow of the scandal followed him. In interviews, he admitted that he felt guilty for his role in the affair and how it contributed to the tragic events. David Robbins, Wayne's older brother and Jennifer's former college sweetheart, also found his life affected by the murder. Though he was not charged with any crime, David felt a deep sense of guilt for not protecting Jennifer. He became more involved in community outreach, volunteering at shelters in Fort Lauderdale to honor Jennifer's memory. In interviews, David expressed his commitment to ensuring that such tragedies do not happen to others. He shared Jennifer's story with local youth, hoping to raise awareness about domestic issues and encourage open communication in relationships. As the months passed, the Robbins family tried to heal from the wounds of loss. While Wayne faced his punishment, Jennifer's legacy lived on through the lives she had touched.